I want to talk about a game that recently has completely taken over my mind. This game is Firewatch, and if you've not heard of it, you've probably been living under a rock because everybody is talking about Firewatch these days, and I want to put my 2 cents in because this game is fantastic. I've played through the game twice in 2 days, so from beginning of the game to end, twice in 2 days. That's not normally something that I would do. In fact, most games I never finish. Most games I never finish because something shiny distracts me, and I never get back to it. I don't think... I'm not trying to do a pun here. I know the game's name is Firewatch, but I don't know that if my house was on fire, I would have gotten up from the game. It was that engrossing. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Now, let's talk about why I played through Firewatch twice in 2 days. Before we do, first let me describe Firewatch. According to the developers, who I can't wait until they come out with something else, Firewatch is a single-player, first-person mystery set in the Wyoming wilderness, where your only emotional lifeline is the person on the other end of a handheld radio. So I'm not going to do any spoilers in this review, and that's what this is. I am giving a review. What I will do is explain just a couple things, none of which spoil the story, which is fantastic. So you play a character who, in the very first moments of the game, has something not great happen to him. And so he kind of escapes by taking a job as a Firewatch, somebody who watches the Wyoming wilderness and reports if there's a fire so that firefighters can come and put it out. Now, why did I play this game twice in 2 days? Well, first, let's talk about the graphics, since that's the first thing that most people will notice when they're playing a game. This game is beautiful. Some people might say that it looks cel-shaded. Now, I don't know what the technical term... I don't know what technically constitutes cel shading, but that is immediately the first thing that jumped to my mind when I saw this game, although I don't think it is actual cel shading. It's just this stylized realism that looks beautiful, and they have done a fantastic job on the visuals for this game. When you're walking around in the Wyoming wilderness for this game, you really feel like you are there, and it makes you want to go there. Like, I wanted to go camping while I was playing this game, and I'm not that big of a camper. So that's graphics. The graphics are beautiful. Some people might say that the colors are a little oversaturated, but it's a stylized choice that the developers made, and I think that they made the right choice. I cannot wait to see more games that look like this, because Firewatch has what I would call a very unique look. Let's talk about sound. First off, there's 2 ways that you can talk about sound. There's sound effects and then there's music. Let's start with the sound effects. The Foley work in this game is amazing. And when you are walking along, and there's some, and I'll talk about the music in a second, but sometimes in the game there's no music, and you can just hear the wilderness, and it completely transports you out into the wilderness. It is completely awe-inspiring, and I highly suggest that you play this game with headphones on, with the sound cranked up, because whoever was in charge of Foley work on this game did an amazing job. Everything sounds perfect. And I don't like to say that word perfect, but everything sounds perfect when you're playing Firewatch. The music is not there most of the time. A lot of the time you're playing through and there's no music at all. And then when the music comes on, that really heightens the tension in the game. You'd think that it would do the opposite, but you're playing through and it's quiet, and maybe you're walking through a cave or whatever, and you kind of feel the oppression of being in that cave, almost a little claustrophobic. And then when music comes on, you'd think it would give you a little relief, but it doesn't. that music comes down and it puts its thumb on you, and you're just like, oh my God, what is happening right now? They've done a great job with both the sound effects and the music. And definitely, this is a headphones, cranked up, lights off type of game. It's great. Let's talk about the writing. The writing is amazing. Not just the story, which is really, really good. The story lays out stuff for you and then pays it off later. But the dialogue, because you're walking around the whole time with a walkie-talkie and you're talking to another Firewatch. They're explaining what it is that you should be doing out there because you're new on the job. That writing is fantastic, and it is wonderfully voice acted. The voice acting really brings these characters to life, and the graphics, sound, writing, and voice acting all together give a level of immersion in the game that is both intense and relaxing at the same time. If you have not had a chance to check out Firewatch, I highly recommend you do so. It is $20 on Steam, and it is a steal at half the price.